Order the Total Trucker Wrestling Rehab shots for all the junkies out there. All right, man. Tribute to the troops. Man, I remember when this first kicked off. It was badass, man. It was it was a different time. Um, it was not too long after 9/11, and I tell you, man, it was cool. It was cool seeing everything, especially stuff behind the scenes. Um, Having the WWE go out there and go to some dangerous places and seeing some of the talent, ride along and on Humvees and tanks and helicopters with some of the soldiers, man, and even the soldiers were like, man, nobody comes here, man, like it's too dangerous. Nobody comes here. Any celebrities that come out here to show support, nobody comes where you guys are coming, man. You guys got the balls to come out here, to these areas, these parts, right? And it was cool, man. I loved it. I love tribute to the troops, man. And as time went on, as time went on, yeah, they would for a few years they kept going back, right, out to Afghanistan and Iraq, and I don't remember exactly where, but as time went on, they stopped going overseas, and instead they'll just go ahead and go to a military base. I believe they went to Fort Hood. Um, where else did they go? They went to a few military bases. I think at one point, did they go to Pearl? I don't know. I want to say they went to Pearl Harbor. I'm not really sure. I could be getting that wrong. But they went to a couple of different. I know Pearl Harbor is not like a military base, but they went to a couple. They went on an aircraft carrier. I think in San Diego. So they got they started moving it around a little bit, and then at some point, um, it got so watered down to the point where they were just recording it after a SmackDown. I know this firsthand because I was at a tribute to the troops show. Me, myself, and my boy Pablo, who comes on the channel every now and then. We went to SmackDown together to go watch it, and they had told us right there, like, oh, they gave out little American flags, and they're like, oh yeah, because we're recording tribute to the troops tonight. It's like, oh, really? So there's it wasn't a military base. No, it was at the shoot, Toyota Arena in Ontario, California. Everybody was there just to go watch SmackDown. There was no, like, you know, uh, it's not like they invited a bunch of military personnel or anything. It's just everybody's there to watch SmackDown. All right, cool. SmackDown's over. Hey, and then the announcement comes on. Hey, everybody, hang on as we as we honor America and do tribute to the troops. And they had a few troops down at the very bottom, not many, like honest, like 10. And then they did the show of tribute to the troops, which was cool. It was cool to be there and be part of it. I'm a pretty patriotic guy, for those who don't know. And it got so watered down to the point that it's gone. Last year, 2024, there was no tribute to the troops. And from what I understand, from everything that I read, from everything that I hear, there's really no plans on bringing it back. Now, from my understanding, okay, with Endeavor. right, with TKO. Their reasoning is, hey, listen, we don't want to mess with the storylines. All right, because Tribute to the Troops was just, it was that. It was, we're not, it's not really going on with the storylines that's going on at that time. It's just, we're going to put some matches together and we're just going to entertain the troops. That's how it started. Shout outs to JBL, one of the greatest heels of all time. But that's how it started. There was really like no story. It wasn't going along with the storylines that were happening at that moment. The beefs, the rivalries, the champions, the contenders, nothing. It was just, okay, we're just gonna, you versus you, just get out there, right? Well, we're just here to entertain the troops. And it worked. It worked for a while, right? Especially when it was overseas. I mean, that was really badass to see. I really loved that. There was definitely some controversy, absolutely, with some things that went down over there. But I even thought it was cool. We're like, okay, if you're not gonna go overseas, right? Because I remember Vince McMahon saying, if you can't be home, because it was, it was aimed for like Christmas, right? For all these troops that are not gonna be home for Christmas, and it's like, we know you can't be home for Christmas, so we're gonna bring a little Americana to you, right? Like that was the cool thing. And for me, I would have liked to seen it continue, but not the way they watered it down so much. Because good gosh, did they water that sucker down. It was just a 1 hour, pretty much non-storytelling, boring show. Like, look, you can continue the stories. All right. You could treat it like a Saturday night's main event. You don't have to get completely out of the storylines and say, well, we're just gonna have just regular matches just for no reason. It's just to entertain the troops. No, you can continue storylines. I'm not saying make it a PLE or anything, but you can control whatever's going on at that moment. Have that sucker go on. Which, by the way, the tribute to the troops that I was at was, it was probably like I think it was like in October, and they didn't air that sucker till December. I don't know why you got to do it that way, but you can make it a bigger spectacle. You can make it, like I said, like a Saturday night's main event. You could do it at a military base and continue the storylines. So basically, what do you guys feel? How do you guys feel that they canceled Tribute to the Troops? Because I'm going to tell you guys how I feel. And here's how I feel. Okay. I would have liked them to continue it. However, I do want to say this. If it was going to continue the way it was going, then yeah, put that sucker to bed because it sucked. Time to put that puppy down because it got so watered down. It sucked, man. It started off so damn great and it got so watered down to the point where it was just like a joke. Would I have liked it to continue? Yes, but not the way they had it. Look, okay, so you don't want to go overseas. You don't want to go out to any battlegrounds or whatever it may be. Heck, there's military bases overseas or military bases here. All that stuff was badass. I loved it, man. Everything behind the scenes and seeing the troops and the WWE talent, having them interact and all that. That was really cool, man. But yeah, if it was going to continue the way they had it for like the last few years, then yeah, just canceled it because it was horrible. I would like to see Tribute to the Troops come back, but I would like to see it come back strong the way it started. And you can have the storylines go on. I don't know why you need to push pause and say, hey, no storylines on Tribute to the Troops. We're just here to just have just regular matches with no storylines just to entertain them. Why do you got to do that? You can continue the storylines on there. That's fine. And I don't know why you got to record it like 2 months in advance. But nonetheless, man, Tribute to the Troops, it's done. It's over with. There's no plans on bringing it back. Um, I used to enjoy it. Like I said, the last few years were pretty terrible, and it sucks. It sucks to see it go, man. It sucks because it was really. I remember, quite a few people saying like, "This is my favorite. This is my favorite." When it first started, I remember people saying like, "This is my favorite, man. This is the most important show of the year." To see where it went to see what it ended up, how it ended up, how sorry and sucky and just it was just it was terrible, man. To the point where they just buried it. It's gone now. But what's your guys' thoughts, man? Should Tribute to the Troops come back at all in any form? Did you guys enjoy Tribute to the Troops? The last few years, the beginning, the middle, the whole thing, none of it, all of it, some of it. I would like it to come back, but it's got to come back strong. If not, if it comes back the way the way it was the last few years, then just let it lie. Just let it lie in the dirt, man. But you guys let me know. Tribute to the Troops is gone. Cholo Trucker Wrestling Rehab. Shouts to all the junkies. Catch you guys on next one.